Men are called dogs. Women are called sneaky. But who actually cheats more in modern relationships? And why do people cheat at all? Today, we're going to discuss probably 14 points on who cheats more and why. Stay tuned.
Are you ready for some controversy? Yeah. Are you ready for some fun? Yeah. Yeah. Are you ready for some laughs? Yeah. Let's get unfiltered with Cycle 4081.
We're back, Cycle 4081 for Unfiltered. So today's episode is going to be kind of interesting, I think, and hopefully we'll get some healthy debates on it. So we're going to talk about, and this is our core debate. Historically, studies have shown men reporting higher rates of infidelity overall, but younger age groups show the gap shrinking dramatically. Some surveys even suggest women under 30 may cheat at rates close to or equal to men. So basically, we're going to discuss, are women cheating more now? Or are women simply more willing and able to leave unhappy relationships? And are men cheating more physically while women cheat more emotionally? So we have, we have 4 guests here, 4 commentators who are going to help lend their expertise, their perspective, and their voices on this particular topic. Okay. And I'm going to play devil's advocate. So trust me, I'm going to be the one who's going to state all the controversial statements. So let's begin. How you guys doing today?
I'm doing pretty good.
All is well?
Doing good.
Okay. I see we have Joy. We have, Wirtz, Paul, and Dimitri. So now there's a difference when it comes to cheating. There's different types of cheating. So my first question on this is, no, let me give my statement. Men are stereotyped as physical cheaters. Women are stereotyped as emotional cheaters. So the question first comes in, first of all, what do you describe as cheating? Okay, then I have a follow up on that. So Dimitri, what do you say is cheating?
I say cheating is cheating like physically and mentally. So I would say sex. No, it starts with the thought of it.
Wait a minute. So wait a minute. You're saying sex. So the thought of sex is cheating?
No, I'm saying the thought that you're gonna do
all
it.
the time.
the thought, huh?
That's the
No,
case.
no,
He cheats all the time.
No. Let me clear.
Cheater.
Hold on. Let me clarify what I'm saying. So what I'm saying is not just walk around thinking. I'm saying if there's someone and you're involved, and there's someone that somebody else that you see, and you're around, and you're thinking about having sex with them. To me, it starts with that the thought of cheating behind your partner with somebody that you're spending time with.
Well, wait a minute. Let me interrupt you real quick. So we're not going to talk. We don't want to hear what starts. We want to know what is cheating in your mind. We don't care about how. For this question, we don't care about how it starts or how it finishes or how it plays out. What is cheating to you?
Well, physically sex.
Okay, so somebody who's in a relationship having sex outside the relationship, plain and simple.
Right.
Okay, Paul.
First, I'd like to preface this by saying black men don't cheat. First, I want to say that.
I co-sign. Go ahead.
Cheating to me is, I agree with Dimitri on the relationship part, but you have to define what the relationship. I think cheating is when 2 people agree to be committed.
Okay.
In a relationship, the key word being agreed to be committed in a relationship, and the other person commits a physical or sexual act outside of that relationship.
Okay. So you define what the relationship is. Okay, that's cool. Words.
Yes.
I agree with the committed part. I think that cheating is when you're looking, thinking, or acting lustfully for a specific person when you're in a committed relationship.
Okay, so she took it like 5 steps higher. She said if you're looking, if you're thinking, or acting with someone sexually outside of your committed relationship, it constitutes cheating. Did I summarize that fine?
Yeah, the key thing is like with a specific person, like, and I would say somebody that is attainable, like,
Okay.
not talking about pornography per
Okay.
se.
Not a celebrity or anything like that. Talking about somebody who is
Yeah,
accessible.
accessible. Yeah.
Like, yeah, like you can't say that you know Holly Berry or
Okay.
Megan Good.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Joy. How do you define cheating?
I would have to say when you intentionally go behind someone's back that you are supposed to be in a exclusive relationship with, and you plan to have a rendezvous with somebody,
Okay.
and you go through with it. That's
Okay.
what I call cheating.
So exclusive relationship, behind the back, planning, and actually committing.
And rendezvous.
Rendezvous. Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
rendezvous with
At
that
two.
person.
Rendezvous at 2.
Okay. So
That part that she just said was good about the behind the back thing.
okay.
Like if it's not agreed upon
Okay.
between
So
all parties.
okay, so now we have definitions of, and they vary, definitions of cheating. And some would say that cheating basically is the sexual act committed without a person's knowledge or consent while you're in a committed relationship. And that's as defined how Paul said it. Committed means you both agree that you're exclusive. Okay. So now getting into that, when I said who cheats more, the first part was physical versus emotional cheating. Now nobody mentioned that. So I'm going to ask you guys, which hurts more, the physical cheating or the emotional cheating? And you can preface this by saying somebody who gets emotionally involved versus somebody who just gets physically involved. Which hurts more? Let's go with Joy. We'll start with Joy on this one.
I would have to say, I don't know. Can you say that again? Like how do you want me to?
Yeah,
I mean,
which one would you say hurts more? And this is for you. Which one hurts more when somebody emotionally cheats or somebody who physically cheats?
I definitely go with the physically cheats.
Okay.
Yeah, physically.
And I'm gonna come back to you on that one, Paul. What do you say, physically cheating or emotional cheating? Which one hurts more?
I guess. Yeah, emotion. I guess.
You guess? You're not sure about it.
Because I don't. Yeah, I think emotion.
Okay, so one emotional. Words. What did you say? The emotional cheating or the physical cheating?
I think the emotional, with an
Okay.
exception of when a baby is created or
okay.
a disease is contracted.
Okay.
Ooh,
Okay. So a long lasting physical.
yes, hurt.
Okay.
Yeah, like
Hurt.
the results,
Okay.
like if it results in a baby or disease.
Or disease. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's understandable. Dimitri, what do you say? Physical or
I
emotional?
I say physical hurts more
Okay.
because you did
Because
you did it.
you did it. Okay. You actually committed
Yeah.
something. All right, you actually
Yeah.
committed something. Okay. You said physical. Why did you say physical?
I think because there's so much more of a chance of that person actually not just ending up cheating, but leaving you because they decided they'd rather be with somebody else. So For me, it's a physical thing, and I think also because of the 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 disease factor, that's really a bother. So you don't want to be with somebody like that. So I'd have to go with the physical.
Okay. All right. And who said emotional? Was it Paul?
I said
Oh, you
emotional.
said what? Now, why did you say emotional?
Um, because I think, especially for when men get attached to somebody emotionally versus just because I think for physical, that's like so easy for them to not think much of the physical. But when they start falling in love with another woman and everything else, or caring about another woman, her needs, and taking care of her needs, and all that other stuff, running to her every beckoning call.
Okay. So
Um,
so is falling
that's the
is
problem.
for you guys. With that said, and we heard the emotional and the physical. So for those who say I guess it could be both, but is falling in love worse than a one night stand? Dimitri, we'll go with you on this one.
I'm gonna say yes.
Falling in love. So if your girl fell
I'm
in
gonna say
love with a
fall in
dude,
love. I'm
that's
gonna say fall in love was worse than a one night stand because a one night stand could not mean nothing. When you fall in love, that's another. That's more.
okay.
That's stronger.
Who agrees with them when they say falling in love is worse than a one night stand?
Yes.
All right, you agree? Paul agrees. Bert's,
Yes,
you
definitely.
definitely agree. Joy,
I have to agree.
okay. Well, I'm going to go against that, and I'm gonna tell you why.
You're wrong.
Uh, I'm gonna say why. Because one, I think sometimes you can't uh, account for your feelings, and it can happen unintentionally. Whereas the physical thing, that's something that you purposely did. You intentionally did that, right? Where an emotional thing is sometimes, I'm gonna say more times not that it's actually intentional. So I think that one to me would be worse. One night stand, okay, you intentionally did that. Whether you tried to cover it up or whatever, that's one thing. But fall in love, things you usually don't fall in love until certain things happen. So yeah, I'm gonna go with the one night stand. But all right, so with that said, why do people excuse one more than the other? Like in a relationship, you'll have somebody say, "Well, all right, well I'm gonna let you slide on that one because it was just a one night stand," versus you fell in love with her and all that other type of stuff, or fell in love with him. Why do you think they excuse one more than the other?
I believe they, well, in regards to the one night stand, forgiving the one night stand, as opposed to the falling in love. One night stand can be argued that that's a temporary emotional act, or a temporary, um, yeah, emotional reckless act. Whereas falling in love it becomes something more permanent, or more um,
More lasting.
lasting. Yes.
Okay, maybe it takes more to develop, longer period of time
Yeah.
versus okay. Anybody disagree with that? Okay, easy enough. So now the second one I wanted to talk about was the opportunity. So opportunity changes everything. So historically, men, let's say men, historically had more freedom and social power. Right, they were more likely to cheat when status and money increased. Whereas women, social media, dating apps, created unlimited access and attention. And, we've seen that with what people have called the pick me women or whoever. So the question is, did technology level the cheating playing field when it comes to men versus women? Let's go with words on this one.
You said the technology
Yeah, the
level the
technology
playing
did. Yeah,
field?
did it level the cheating playing field? Did it allow it to be evened up versus how it historically was?
No, I think education did.
You said education.
Yeah,
Okay, explain that one.
education, finances. I think women probably was less likely to cheat back in the day out of fear of losing, you know, for one, maybe getting their behinds whooped, but also losing resources per se, also shame in doing things of that nature.
Okay.
But I think the independent woman thing, the women's movements, all that stuff, education, finance, all those things allow women to kind of feel a little bit freer in their choices and decisions.
Okay. Okay, I understand that. So now, anybody believe that social media and technology, including the dating apps and all that type of stuff, make it more evened out, or even giving women the advantage? Now, think about Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and what you've seen today. Has technology evened it up, or even given women the advantage when it comes to opportunity to cheat?
Yes,
Okay, good.
because of the apps, the dating apps alone, that I feel like that gives them the advantage, because they can put they have their whole profile and things like, same way with social media, Facebook or whatever, they liable to find, whoever on there, and if there's some stuff going wrong with their relationship with whoever they're involved with, they know people on Facebook, and they can easily make a profile on a dating app.
Okay,
It's just,
okay. I think I'm gonna have to
you
agree
know,
with that.
I think it's for both, really, and maybe even more so for men,
Why more so for men?
because men were already the biggest cheaters out here. And then now they have ways of just scrolling, liking, commenting,
Well, women have the same. As a
saying
matter of fact, women
thank
would
you
post more,
on booby pictures, all kind of
right?
stuff.
But
Say
women,
that
women,
again.
women do post more though. Wouldn't you
yeah,
say, when it comes to
they
physical
post
stuff
more,
and
right?
They
They
do.
post more with the pictures
Women
and the
post
videos
more
and
for the purpose of attracting that attention,
Enticing.
right?
is it?
Enticing.
Do you think so?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely,
yeah, yeah.
absolutely. I
What
think
about when men post?
well, men. I don't see many men posting things with the purpose of enticing women. I don't see that. So
Well,
usually men talk about certain things, or they totally different, whereas a woman that I've seen, so let's go with Instagram. There's vast majority of the users on Instagram that are women who post provocative, enticing things to
Yes.
entice men
Right.
to follow them, to correspond with them, to do everything. I mean, if I had
we
to put a
see that
percentage on it,
with men.
and it's not scientific, but if I had to put a percentage on it, I would say it's probably like 90% women to 10% men when it comes to Instagram. And I'm speaking
Yeah,
specifically of
I would agree.
Instagram.
I
We
Right.
would
see it
agree.
with men
I agree
too.
too.
You do see
We
men?
see there are some men who have Instagram pages that show how to utilize their manly parts, which can be enticing. We see men that I know some chefs
Well,
that they post their food that they cook, which is
that's not
enticing to
enticing.
women. That is very much that's enticing to women.
Yeah, but you know
Yes,
what?
Pause.
that is very sexy.
But okay,
Yeah,
so
but
let's say,
What you might think is enticing may not be the same thing that a woman
well,
would
here's
think
the thing.
is
It's also
enticing.
as an intent. But even if I'm gonna say this, I'm gonna say what you're saying is correct. I'm gonna agree with you on that. But the percentage wise, I think it's still like 90 to 10%,
still
and that's
more
being
women.
generous,
Yeah.
right?
Men
There's
may
more.
not
Yes.
men may not flash their bodies online all the time, minus the gym rats, but men will do things like flash um money type of stuff. Maybe not their money itself, but cars, or they might show their house or their yard, how well they're keeping it. I've seen that. Or they may show that they have this business or that business. Men show off to try to get attention in other ways.
I will
than the
agree.
way a
However,
woman may be.
I don't think that's specifically tailored to women. Men like to brag. Men like to try to one up the next man. You know,
Right.
exactly. So I don't think that those things are exclusively to women, whereas women,
Dancing on
100%.
TikTok videos.
Exactly, that is 100% geared to
out-
men,
Yeah,
or
out at the club.
or women if
100%.
that's
How
their
do you know
their
that?
genre, huh?
How do you know that when a woman is posting certain
It's
things
obvious.
that they're posting it 100%?
It's well, so when I say 100%,
men.
I'm talking. It don't always have to be men per se, but it could be women who they may be in that type of relationship with. They may look for women, but it's still in a sexual enticing way. They're enticing someone. So, but as far as the question goes, like we already knew men had more opportunities back then, but technology did kind of even up or even one up for the women when it comes to cheating or playing around or playing the field, right? And do anybody disagree with that?
Say that again, please.
No, because and I wanted to tack on that in regards to Instagram. Men pose, they thrive on bravado, and that's really like trying to one up a man with the car and physical body and the money. So
Right.
that's not specifically tailored towards a woman. But like Brian said, the women, percentage wise, it's a larger amount on
Large
Instagram
amount.
that use their pictures as an enticement towards attention. So
And their motivation also may be money. So we didn't, forget that part there too.
OnlyFans.
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 Is a ton of them out there. There's a ton of them. So, all right, my third point I want to mention. We're gonna talk about this is where men get put on the hot seat, right? We're gonna talk about why men cheat. Now, some of the reasons why, common reasons discussed before, was ego and validation, which we just mentioned, sexual variety, which is big, opportunity, midlife crisis. You get into your 50s and you want to sow your royal oats. Lack of emotional maturity. Okay. Feeling underappreciated. And I think many men have actually talked about that before. And then the power and the status part. So, when you have certain status or power, you think you could do more, you want more. So the question to you is, do successful men cheat more because they can? And think about those successful men.
I believe so.
Okay.
Because
Anybody?
they have more access, more opportunity,
Okay.
and more resources. And
Access, opportunity, and resources.
yes.
Okay.
I believe so. I believe so too, because you look at like the Kobe Bryants that was traveling out there, like the athletes that are successful or whatever, when they're traveling away from their families or whatever, it's right there. It's easy. It's like easy access.
Okay.
So,
So,
they
okay.
that's why they do it, because they can.
All right. Anyone who disagree with that? And I want to particularly hear from the ladies on this one.
Wait a minute. Ask that question again.
Do successful men cheat more because they can? And Paul basically said it's more resources they have, more opportunities, and what was the third one?
Access.
More access.
I believe that.
Okay. So no, nothing controversial about that. We can all agree on that
So
one.
let's define successful.
Successful, money, fame, prestige, any of those.
Influence.
Influence, power. That's what it is. Power is influence, right?
If you look at history, if you really look at history, you look at powerful, successful men, majority of the time they have a backstory where they've been involved in some type of extra affair, extra relationship. So even the most revered leaders that
And
power,
exactly,
access,
nobody is
influence,
exempt. Not a pastor,
opportunity, resource.
right? Not a
Yes,
pastor, not an actor, not a politician. And it all comes down to
Absolutely.
power and influence. And it
Right.
really, money doesn't always play a part in that either, you know.
Right.
But it's still power. Money sometimes give you power. So yeah, I can see that. And all right, we're gonna talk about the women. Let's get on the women. Now, why women cheat? Some common reasons were emotional neglect, feeling invisible, revenge, loneliness, desire for excitement, validation, and financial upgrading. And we know what that is, right? They dropping the low paid guy for the high paid guy. So my question is for them is, do women emotionally leave relationships before physically cheating? Okay. Do women leave emotionally before they physically cheat? I'm going to go with the women on this one. Let's go with Joy.
Yeah, I think they do emotionally leave. Yeah. And then they decide I'm going to pick somebody else because they can see a better future for themselves with someone else. And so they're going to embark on that mission to find somebody who can, I don't want to say it, but fit the bill.
Okay. Okay. Words.
I agree.
You agree? Now,
Yes.
for those reasons, do you two, do you believe they do that emotionally because of the things I mentioned, neglect, feeling invisible, loneliness, I guess validation? Or what is your
Those are all
reason?
those are all possibilities, but
Possibility.
it, it,
Okay.
it it definitely is deeper than that, you know. If you were happy where you were, you wouldn't even be thinking about, moving your cheese. But because of your situation, that's why you decide emotionally to move on because you're seeking better for yourself. And as women, we should be seeking better for ourselves. If better is out there, I think you should go for it.
Okay. Okay. So, fellas, the reasons that I mentioned that women cheat more, I mentioned emotional neglect, feeling invisible, revenge, loneliness, desire for excitement, validation, and financial upgrading. Which one of those things do you think it's viable? Do you think it's all of them, or certain things pop up more?
So some cheat for less performance, non-performance in bedroom.
I was gonna say that. I
Yeah,
was wondering, like,
yeah,
who
forget about
wrote
that one.
this?
Okay, so that would be desire for excitement, or
Is it
yeah, yeah,
desire for excitement
the
or desire for skills?
no excitement is excitement because when you
Uh,
talk about skills, skills is relative,
Because a lot of
right?
a lot of women will leave their guy for not performing, satisfying them in the bedroom.
Okay,
I think that needs to be
They cheat
real
for that.
specific,
well
though.
that's for cheating. Okay, we talk about the leaving part, but do they emotionally leave because of that? I don't think women emotionally leave because of that.
No, not because of that. No,
Right. Now they may physically cheat because of that, but not them emotionally
not
leaving.
emotionally because they still love their partner.
Right. I think when it
I
comes
think all factors. I think all factors play a part, but for me, I think emotional neglect and validation
mhm.
probably play a bigger role, and then those two things probably lead to those other factors to come along.
Right, like it grows into that.
Right, the financial thing, the
Okay.
the excitement, those things.
Okay. Okay. So now I wanted to ask this too because we mentioned social media and even the playing field, and this goes to number 5 points why I feel women cheat more than men. Okay, and you guys can disagree, but when you talk about social media and DMs, right? Social media, you got the Instagram attention, secret conversations, the work husband / work wife thing, right?
That's
Then you got the emotional affairs online. So, with all that said, should deleting messages automatically count as cheating behavior? And we're talking about the whole social media aspect of it. Let's go
You
with
said, does deleting messages
does
count
deleting-
as
yes, automatically count as cheating behavior.
no?
Okay. Anybody disagree? Or I'm sorry, does anybody agree that it automatically count as cheating when you delete messages? Okay. That was easy. Now, when would that count as cheating?
Deleted messages.
Yes.
when you actually doing something, and that person is sending you those messages, and you delete them.
Okay, so
Yeah.
is it
inappropriate.
inappropriate messaging that you send? Can we say that? No.
Inappropriate.
No, because it can go the other way. The other person could be sending. I think I can go both ways.
I think if both people are sending messages to each other,
Okay.
and if both people are sending messages to each other and you delete it to hide it from your person, then I think that's a negative intent. You're
Okay.
trying to hide it. But
That's a negative intent, but is it cheating behavior?
yes, if both people are sending messages back and forth to each other, like flirting or whatever, and you delete it to hide it from your person, then yes, that is cheating behavior. But if one person sends something to someone and you reject it and delete it, then I don't think it's cheating behavior.
That's what I was saying.
And if you send something to someone that's inappropriate and they don't respond, and then you delete it, to me, that's your intent was cheating or being inappropriate. And I think that's cheating behavior, even if the other person did not respond back to you, but you deleted it because you don't want your person to see it.
And the key word is intent, because a lot of times people send it depends on the level of inappropriateness, because I know I make jokes. I make jokes, and the people around me, we joke a lot. It really depends on the intent of the what's being sent.
Okay. So what's considered inappropriate is subjective. I guess depends on who's involved, right? And like you said, I think an intent is the major factor in that. What's your intent? Like if somebody sends something that you know is inappropriate, but your intent is different, would that be considered cheating or cheating behavior? I want to say cheating behavior.
Okay, so let's call it. This is real talk, right? It's real talk.
That's right.
So, okay, so if I'm in a committed relationship and I send a dick pic to another chick, that's cheating behavior. We gonna call it what it is.
Right. That's not subjective.
Yeah, the same thing. If I'm in a relationship and another woman sends me a picture of, naked boobs, whatever, that's that. I mean, once again, somebody sends it to me and I reject it and delete it, that's not cheating behavior.
Okay.
But if they send it to me and I respond or reply, then we just now committed some type of inappropriate behavior between each other.
Okay. So I want to get into the whole thing about, and like I said, there's no standard answer for it, but I'm going to get into you guys' definition of inappropriateness. Okay. So what's inappropriate for you may not be inappropriate for the next person, or even your spouse, unless I guess you guys talk about it and decide these things are inappropriate and unacceptable. So, Tiffany, what would you say is, let's start with the automatically inappropriate when it comes to Instagram attention, secret conversations, and emotional affairs online, including the DMs?
I think that it is, I think it's any interaction. I think liking pictures or was specifically liking pictures is a problem. Secret conversations are a problem. Sending DMs is a problem. But I'm also one of those people who is very pro share passwords.
Okay. So we actually going to we're going to get on that too. So I'm glad you mentioned that. But you said any that was pretty wide. You said any conversation, any
That was a wide net.
Yeah, that was a wide catchment area there. All right, but I'm glad you mentioned that. So who was it here? We have Joy.
I'm going to pass on that one. I don't know.
You're gonna pass.
Yeah, I'm pass on that. I'm passing.
Okay. Words. What do you say is automatically? I'm gonna ask you this: automatically inappropriate on its face versus conditional. Let me say it that way. What is conditionally, which means could be, could not be, maybe, maybe not. But what is automatically inappropriate and what is conditional, in your opinion, for you?
What's
automatically inappropriate when it comes to social media, secret conversations, emotional affairs? Let me say emotional affairs. That's subjective, but
yeah, I think. That's tough because secret conversations. Once again, we have to examine the intent behind the conversations.
Okay.
Like okay. Like I have friends. I have friends. I have long lasting friends, and I may have a secret conversation. Hey, what's up? How you been? Blah, 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 blah. I don't think that's inappropriate. I don't think that's crossing the boundary or anything like that.
Okay.
But if I go ahead and I send a picture on some naked type stuff, yeah.
Dick pic.
Yeah. if I see it, yeah. See. Yeah, that's what.
That's automatically anything sexual in nature that you send automatically is a violation, or should be.
That's automatically violation right there.
Now, and the subjective part for you is that depends on what your intent is. Even if they say something that that on his face, like if you read it, they say, "Oh no, that's crazy, that's crazy," but you figure out you have a conversation about it, and the intent was not to be that way. Okay.
Right.
Dimitri.
I'm gonna have to. My answer is pretty much what Paul said, kind of describing it.
Okay.
Like if you send it on some you send some, big daddy pics, then
that's automatically you saying that is inappropriate.
Yeah.
How you okay? So
right.
Is there certain things that could be maybe not. Like, say, let me ask you something like this: just casual conversations, complimenting, liking a picture, liking a post or whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah, what?
like in a post, like if you put a girl put something up of her in a dress,
Hmm.
and then I go like it.
You would say that's inappropriate.
Yeah, well, if you're in a relationship, yes.
Okay, so let me go on the record by this, and then and we're gonna go to Tiffany says she agrees. I'm gonna go on the record on this one, and then we're gonna go into part two. So when it comes to Instagram attention, and or let's say social media attention, when it comes to just that something that's out in the open, I don't think that's inappropriate at all. Depends on what your comments are. I don't
I
think that
agree.
people with
I
take.
agree.
You agree? Okay. I think people put too much into social media, and it goes back to what somebody else said. I think Word said about the accessibility as well. So if that person isn't even accessible, like you mentioned, you know, and you're just commenting online, I don't see a big deal about it. Where it goes generally on its face value as being inappropriate is when you send nude pictures or inappropriate pictures to somebody when you're in a relationship and all that other type of stuff. If it's if the woman is receiving, if it's the man, it's okay. That's how I feel. So
I have an example. I have an example
okay.
on, on Instagram. So I'm really into looking at like uh, like the different African countries, right?
Hmm.
So there was this particular picture of these African girls, and they was dancing and having a good time, right? I hearted it. I said, love this. Whoever was the person if in charge of the page said thank you. Bam, end the conversation, end the discussion. I liked what I saw. I liked they was having fun. I liked they was enjoying themselves and things like that. They must have saw the comment. I said, love this. They said, thank you. Bam. End of it. My intent was not to do anything in a sexual way or
Or
anything like that.
nefarious way.
I was just saying,
You didn't have a nefarious
yeah, I was feeling
intent.
appreciation because
Okay.
I was in appreciation
So let me
for what I saw.
let me throw this in there too. So when it goes back to intent, again, I guess you got to be on the same page with that. Sometimes when a person may like something just to show appreciation, I like what you did, nothing more. I like that you're confident. I like your content. I like the fact that you know, your whole social media presence or whatever, versus somebody who likes or even hearts, whatever however you want to do it, and says, oh yeah, let me get that. You know what I'm saying? Tiffany says she thinks there's a difference between personal pages and marketing pages. Okay, I'll buy that. I'll buy that. So if it's let me ask her that. Elaborate that more about that. The personal versus marketing pages.
I think that there's a difference between if you're looking at someone's individual or personal page and you're liking those pictures versus if it's like a business page or I mean, I don't know the page that Paul was describing, but let's say it's a tourism page that's showing different elements of other cultures. So it's not just that the picture has someone of the opposite sex so much, but I don't think that's the same thing as somebody's individual page where they're just posting pictures of themselves and you're liking it.
Well, Tiffany, I think it wasn't a tourism page per se. It was somebody's personal. It showed up on my feed. So I guess that particular person, I don't know, they were in at an event in this particular country, And because I have like my algorithm set to like these particular countries, they'll show up on my feed. So what happened was they was dancing. It was, I guess they was in a club, but they was doing some type of dance, or whatever. And I was like, oh, I love this. And they said thank you. And then that was it. So I guess the intent was, like Brian said, I love people. I love how people operate on social media, their presence, their aura, how they go about doing things, or just how they display their lives, on social media. If I like it, if I like something about it, I'm gonna say, like I'll say, oh, you did that, or that was dope, or that was fire, or something like that, and that's it. That's my intent, was just to show appreciation.
Okay, I think there's a blurred line when it comes to personal page and say a marketing page or a business page, because a lot of times people actually interchange those things. So but I do see your point when it comes to that, Tiffany. So, but you guys, we're gonna go with this is a good conversation, and this is gonna be a nice conversation, but we're gonna go with part 2. So stay tuned for part 2, and we're going to talk about the double standards, does marriage reduce cheating, some revenge cheating. We're going to talk about revenge cheating. We're going to talk about the money and infidelity part, and then overall monogamy. And that's going to start a nice, healthy debate. But stay tuned for that.
Thank y'all for tuning in to another episode of Unfiltered with Psycho 4081. Big respect to our guests for keeping it real, and love to every listener rocking with us week after week. This conversation ain't over yet. Stay locked in for the next episode coming soon. Until next time, keep it unfiltered with Psycho 4081.